one area in Gaza is called Beit Hanun, and it was considered like the Garden of Eden, and because of the crops that were grown there and the oranges, the wonderful fragrance that people talked about of the orange blossoms. And so anyway, when we were there accompanying the farmers, and also we would help with the olive harvest, we were told that, so many times we saw these really short little olive trees, and it's because, every so often Israel comes in and just destroys the crops and uproots the trees, and then the Palestinians are very resilient and resolute. And what is that word, Donna? Samud? So there's an Arabic word called samud, which is steadfast. And just to learn about nonviolent resistance is really important for people in the United States to go see what nonviolent resistance is, because the Palestinians practice it every second of their lives. And how they're portrayed here in the United States it's really, really horrific, because wherever I go and wherever I went and met Palestinians, what greets me as an American and as an American Jew is love and kindness and humility and generosity and hospitality and welcoming. And it's just so amazing to go meet and work with people who are so oppressed, and yet instead of having anger and hatred in their hearts, what they want is a decent life for themselves, just like any other human being wants a better life for them, a better life for their children. And the Palestinians really value education, and so to see what Israel's doing in denying the Palestinians of education. We met students who couldn't get out to further their education because the universities in Gaza can only handle so many students, for one thing, and then they don't have like the higher degree programs available. So students have been able to get scholarships and admissions to universities, and Israel won't allow these young people to get out and further their education, and so that they can come back and make a difference for Palestine. But the best things I've ever done in my life has been in Palestine. In 2002, it was like the invitation, come see for myself. And I would encourage anyone, if you ever have the opportunity, to go to Palestine to see for yourself, because it's one thing to hear about it and one thing to see movies or read about it. It's a totally different thing to be there for yourself and experience it firsthand.
My name's Allie Glonesk. I'm from Templeton, California. It's a pretty small town, like rural California. And then now I go to school at Berkeley. I started doing undergraduate school at Berkeley, and then I started studying Arabic. And so I went to Egypt to continue studying Arabic, and ironically, I guess I got my start as an activist in Egypt under a military dictatorship, which is a whole interesting thing in itself, to think about what civil rights mean in that type of situation. And then 2 months after CASLED, I went to Gaza for the first time, and that was really my start as an activist. I guess it's just, once you see stuff like what you see in Gaza, you can't turn away from it. I've gone to Palestine on multiple occasions for different reasons. The first time I went to Palestine was in March 2009 with Code Pink as part of what they termed a humanitarian delegation. I think a lot of the purpose was, after CASLED, because of the blockade, people were not allowed to go in. The international community was not allowed there, and Palestinian media is not represented internationally. So this was an opportunity for people, of influence to go. On the delegation I was with, Alice Walker was there, to go and to witness and then to write op-eds and, take video and tell people what's up. I sort of, in some ways, was a tag-along because I was already studying in Egypt. I was already in the area, and I just sort of signed up. After that, I wanted to sort of do something else, so in May 2009, and in the months leading up to that, I organized a delegation of students, which was the first ever student delegation to go to Gaza since the start of the blockade. We met with NGOs, delivered medical aid, and met a lot with students. And for many students in Gaza, it was the first time they'd met international peers. And this all was co-organized with my friend Iman Amonklosi and her friends who live in Gaza. There are 5 of them, and then there were 5 of us internationals working outside in Egypt trying to get people to come. I've also traveled twice to the West Bank, sort of personal trips. The first time was just to go and to be a tourist, see what's up. The next time was last winter. I was the student organizer for Gaza Freedom March, and while 100 people went to Gaza, I chose not to go because I'd already been, but I did go with a friend to visit her hometown and her family in the West Bank for the first time she'd been there in about 10, 11 years, something like that. I didn't have any intentions. I just sort of went. I had the privilege, I still have the privilege of not having to grow up with the reality of what is Palestine in my head, thinking about it, and I wasn't really thinking about it the first time I went, and that's a great privilege. I mean, still in my activism, it's not exactly thrust upon me. I don't have family there. I haven't lost, people to, being shot by the IDF. I haven't lost my home. I haven't lost my trees, my land, whatever. But I mean, I guess I didn't really have any intentions in that regard.